to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making the best potatoes you'll ever have. Vámonos! Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Nobody could have said that wiser than Sam. See what I did there? I don't think I'm crazy when I say that potatoes are most people's favorite side dish. That's why I have for you today 3 different ways of making potatoes, including the best potatoes you've ever had. Let's go. Let's talk potatoes. For the best potatoes ever, aka Tia Olga's potatoes, I'm gonna be using these red small ones. I got my bag from Costco. I separated them in colors and sizes. The color part, it's really not that important, but I like to do it that way because my aunt always uses red potatoes for these ones. I do want all my potatoes to be more or less the same size so they all cook evenly. So the big potatoes I'm gonna be cutting in half. The first thing you need to do is poke holes all around your potatoes. There are different ways to do it. You can use a fork, but as you can see is the slowest and toughest way to do it. So I really don't recommend it. You can use a knife and be wild and just poke holes in your potatoes and eventually your fingers. So if you're planning to do that, just be careful. You can also use a toothpick or you can use my newly discovered and preferred method, which is with one of these corn holders. It turned out to be the fastest, more comfortable, and efficient way to do it. So if you have those, that will work wonders. So I'm gonna finish perforating all my little potatoes, and here I want to show you the difference in size between some of the potatoes. So the big ones, I separated them so I can cut them in half after I perforate them. I also recommend using a kitchen towel to hold the potatoes so you don't poke yourself. It makes it a little bit safer. And that's it when it comes to prepping. Of course, I don't have to tell you that before I did all of this, I washed them really well. In my pan, I'm gonna add around 6 ounces of bacon, which is basically half a pack. Make sure to choose some with a good amount of fat because that's what we're gonna use to cook our potatoes. So cook that, let it release some of the fat, and then we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna add 10 cloves of garlic finely diced, and we're gonna let them cook in the bacon fat for just 1 minute. To then add our potatoes. Give them a good stir and make sure that everything mingles. I'm gonna let them cook for around 5 minutes just in the bacon grease and stir them from time to time. Now that the potatoes have taken in the flavor of the garlic and bacon, we're gonna add the magic ingredient. This is 3/4 of a cup of Maggi seasoning sauce, which is the 6.7-ounce bottle. And while I stir these beauties, let me show you just as a flex the ginormous bottle I've just got from my international store. And don't worry, if yours isn't as big as mine, you can still find the smaller bottles in your regular store, normally at the international section. No salt needed, but pepper is gonna be up to you. And for a little umami, I like to add a dash of Worcestershire sauce. I can't remember if it's in the original recipe, but it's always welcome. Now we need to cover them and let them finish cooking. This may take between 20 to 30 minutes. Keep coming back, give them a stir to make sure that they all get soaked into the juices, and you know they're ready once you poke them with a toothpick and it goes right through. And they're ready. Let them chill if you don't want to sear your tongue, and you'll see how the sauce thickens as it cools down. Sprinkle parsley on top of them before serving. For the rest of my potatoes, I'm gonna start by boiling them. Submerge them well in cold water, bring them to a boil. While that's going on, I'm gonna fry in some neutral oil 1 guajillo pepper that is clean, de-seeded and deveined, 2 garlic cloves, and 5 arbol peppers. You can add more if you want them really spicy, but I find that 5 is enough to give it just a kick. We're gonna toss and turn everything around, being careful not to burn anything. When everything is ready and the oil is infused, we're gonna transfer everything into our blender. I highly recommend using the small cup for this one. We're gonna add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or lime juice could do. Season with pepper and 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon or salt. When your potatoes and sauce are ready, move on to a pan and add 1 tablespoon of butter. Let it melt and add 1 finely diced garlic clove. Now we're ready for 2 pounds of our potatoes and our spicy sauce. Give them a good toss. Make sure that everything coats the potatoes. Let them sit in your pan for 5 more minutes and then they're ready. If you wish, you can sprinkle some chives or cilantro on top of these ones. And finally, let's make some papas poblanas. In some olive oil, I'm gonna add 2 cups of roasted poblano pepper cut in strips. I have a video on how to achieve that. I'm also gonna add 1 cup of sweet yellow corn and a sliced half an onion. I'm gonna let it saute for a while, and then to make room for the potatoes, I'm gonna set aside a portion of the veggies. It would be a good idea to make this in a bigger pan. Set some room for the potatoes, add extra oil, and now we can add the other 2 pounds of potatoes. I cut this batch in halves. If you have enough room, make sure that all of your potatoes are facing down. We want to give them just a little bit of a roast. On the side, to the veggies that I set aside, I'm gonna add half a cup of milk. You can use cream instead, or even a mix of milk and cream cheese. I'm gonna season with 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon, but you can use salt and pepper. And we're gonna take that to the blender. And into an oven safe container, I'm gonna transfer my potatoes. Of course, you can do this beautifully, but at this point, too many potatoes for a day, I was tired. I'm going to pour over the sauce that I just made and carefully mix everything up. I'm gonna top it up with a generous amount of cheese. I've chosen mozzarella and parmigiano. We're gonna take this into the oven with the grill on low at 350 for 20 minutes. Feel free to make it prettier. You can even use Yukon potatoes, slice them up, layer everything nicely, and slice it as a pie. And here you have them. All of these options for you to decide if you want them as an appetizer, as a side dish. They work both ways with whatever you're making. Definitely, the poblanas are very creamy. They will pair well with turkey or chicken. I suggest you make them as scallop and have a nicer presentation so you can cut it as a pie, but they're good anyway, so. Ooh, here we go. They definitely feel more of a side dish. They're a little bit more complex, but everything you expect in potatoes with a little bit of a nuance with the poblano, which it's not expected in a regular Christmas dinner, but I think they go great. Next, the spicy ones. This one call all year round, really. If you're watching a game, they're gonna go fast. I think for this one, the smaller the better, so you can just pop them in. They are spicy, but I don't think they are so spicy that they're gonna be unedible. If you're worried that some people might not like so much spiciness, you can drizzle some cream and chives on them, or even some cheddar cheese, Americanize them, you know what I mean? But honestly, just like this, they're perfect. And now, the queens. The creation of a queen. Tia Olga, I will forever be grateful for this recipe. These potatoes are famous amongst different families. They know that my tia Olga makes them, and they're the Olga potatoes. Even people from different families that don't belong to mine, they know them and they call them that, and they ask, oh, if you're bringing something, please make Olga's potatoes, because they're just so good, guys. I don't even know how to describe it. You can have them as an entry or as a side dish, but if you have them as both, they're probably not gonna last. So keep an eye on them. They're perfect. I really have no words. They have the perfect amount of saltiness. The fat of the bacon really penetrates thanks to the holes that we poked into them. They're amazing. Who doesn't love bacon and potatoes? If you have to decide and you just want to make one, go for this one. These are the best potatoes you'll ever have, I swear. I don't know one person that doesn't like the Olga potatoes. But it doesn't matter which one you choose. I hope you enjoyed this video just like this recipe. And if you did, please share it with your friends. Like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.